over to Asha.
Thank you, Smita. So my name is Asha Shivaram. I'm a nature cure health coach. I've been practicing this lifestyle for the past 8+ years. So I also have my own health journey. I was going through severe back issues. I had slipped disc. Then I was also taking medicines for hypothyroidism. And soon after, other health issues followed, like fibromyalgia, anxiety, palpitations, hormonal issues, um, indigestion problems, piles. Yeah, so many such issues, one after the other, and I was really tired, visiting doctors and asking them what was wrong with me. So nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. They said organically I seemed well, but I knew something was wrong within. I also dabbled with other things like Ayurveda and a lot of other things like spiritual growth and all that which happened at that time, for which I'm very grateful for. But for me, the real physical change came about when I turned to plant-based foods. And I changed my food habits to become completely plant-based, which we will talk about during this program, what is meant by plant-based foods. And after that, I deepened my knowledge by getting into nature cure, by aligning my lifestyle to be in sync with nature, understanding the science of natural well-being. And since then, it's been a tremendous journey of self-growth. And it has brought me in touch with so many of you like-minded people, health seekers, and groups like PSS and Gudakesha, where I have met so many of my soul brothers and sisters. So I am excited to see where my life takes me in future, and what other personal growth can happen in my life, which all basically started by my physical health journey. So let's go ahead and see where our journey takes us through. So you can see the path is so green and so beautiful, and I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful journey for all of us. So holistic well-being program is all about healthy medicine, being disease-free and plant-based. Not just this, but we will also be talking about non-food aspects too, and how it relates to our well-being. So today is day 1, and we are going to start with a brief introduction. Then we will understand what is the self-healing power of our body. I'm sure all of you as Gudakesha practitioners already know about this. And we will learn a new theory called theory of Toxemia and understand how disease relates to this. So today is just an introduction. More details about diseases, how diseases develop, what is disease actually, and how our food habits and lifestyle habits create disease. So what is the cure? What do we have to change in our food? What do we have to change in our lifestyle? How will disease get reversed? Is it really possible to reverse some certain disease conditions? If I have a particular disease, what do I need to do? All these things will be slowly revealed as the days progress. So we cannot obviously do everything in one day. That's why we have this 15-day program. So today is just a brief introduction about the science of nature cure and self-healing. So just to set the stage, right, we really have to think about whether what we are doing today is health care or disease care. Today we have so many super specialty hospitals. We have so many different kinds of specialties in every hospitals. In every hospital, we have more medicines, more treatments, so many diagnostics, right? More doctors, and more health budget also. But if you really look at what is happening, not just in our country, but around the world, the number of diseases, the number of names of diseases and the number of people suffering from diseases just seem to be increasing. So you can see that earlier, maybe even like 20, 30 years back, people used to suffer and die mainly from infectious diseases, right? But today, the kind of diseases which people are having more and more are chronic diseases. That means they are not really diseases of elimination or infection, but more long-term diseases where suffering is prolonged. So you can see that heart disease is the number one, then comes stroke, then pulmonary disease, that means disease of the lungs, then respiratory infections, neonatal conditions, and so many other things, as you can see from this chart here. So we really have to question ourselves that whether what we are doing is disease care or health care. Excuse me. Because it seems that we are focusing or concentrating our efforts more on fighting disease rather than focusing on building our health. Because the more energy and effort we put on disease, the body is structured in such a way that what is suppressed in one part of the body will, come in the other part of the body. So that we get another disease label. So in this way, disease keeps progressing because we are fighting against something which the body itself has created. The body creates disease as a means for homeostasis or to be in balance. But because we don't understand this, because we suppress the body's healing mechanism with medicines or with overwork or worry or anything, any of those things, the diseases keep progressing. So that's why we see that today we are actually focusing our efforts on something which is not needed at all. And that is the reason why the number and the deaths and the types of diseases are increasing. So nature cure is a science which focuses more on health management than disease management. So we are going to work towards improving the level of our health. We are going to learn the science of uh, how nature wants, how nature's laws are, and how do we need to align our life to nature's laws. When we align our life to nature's laws, then we can attain the highest level of health. And as we keep building health, diseases will automatically go away because uh, disease is nothing else but a lowered state of health. So the human organism is self-healing, regenerating, and self-correcting. Have you experienced the self-healing mechanism of your body any time? Can you give an example? Can you put it on chat? So suppose you have had a problem and without doing anything, if you left it alone, have you experienced that the body can heal itself? Can you give any example? You can type it on chat. Yes, small cuts on the skin, fevers, colds. Indigestion is corrected if I don't eat the next day. Yes, excellent. So we seem to have a already knowledgeable group. So yes, also broken bones, right? Any kind of infections, all these things, if left to itself without any intervention, the problem gets sorted out on its own. So that shows that the human body, not just the human body, but all living organisms on this earth have self-healing, self-correcting, self-directing capabilities. But somewhere along the way, we have kind of forgotten this knowledge which we had even at birth, and we started depending on something external of us to heal us and to rid us of disease. But actually, to become healthy, to heal ourselves requires understanding and correcting the cause of the disease. As long as we keep fighting with the symptoms of disease, like I have backache, or I have pain in my shoulder, or I'm not able to breathe well. All these things are working at the symptomatic level. So without working on the root causes, if we just try to address the symptom, the problem will not be healed from the root. The problem may again come back in some other form. So healing requires us to understand and correct the cause of the disease. And that requires us to actually understand the science of healing, to be self-educated about what is natural health and nature's laws. So in this whole program, we will focus on building up our knowledge of health and of healthy living, because we want to build health and we don't want to actually learn disease management. So we will be explaining few ways in which we can in non-intrusive ways manage things like pain, circulation, sleep, and all that through some therapies. But the main focus is on building our health. So, nature cure science is slightly a different kind of science compared to other ways of looking at disease like allopathy or Ayurveda or homeopathy or anything else. Here, we do not treat each disease differently. For us, all diseases are the same. All diseases are basically an expression, a manifestation of the body showing up problems in different parts of the body due to some underlying cause. Now, what is the underlying cause? The underlying cause is the accumulation of waste material or toxins inside the body. So toxins are basically poisonous materials which should not belong in the body. And over time, when we do not allow the body to throw out these toxins uh, on a timely basis, the body can start showing different symptoms. So where are these toxins coming from? Toxins can come from external sources, or toxins can come from within the body itself. From external sources, toxins can come from the environment pollution. For example, dirty water, uh, or if you're living in a place which has a lot of air pollution, or or soil pollution, right? All these things, when we ingest or take in through our body, it can create waste material or poisons within the body. Not only that, on a day-to-day basis, from within the body itself, toxins are generated. One reason is metabolic waste. That is, as the body metabolizes food, or as the body breaks down old cells in order to rebuild new cells, that also creates waste cells in the body, which are toxins. Then the daily wear and tear, the building up and the breaking down of those cells. Then our lifestyle itself, for example, staying up, you know, not following the rules of nature and eating late, not connecting with nature, then processed foods, right? Foods which are not suited for our body. All these things also create waste material inside our body. And one of the most important things is the kind of thoughts we think on a daily basis. So, in effect, all these things can create unsuitable chemicals or toxins in our body, and these toxins can travel all over the body. As the blood gets saturated with toxins, the blood will carry, the lymphatic fluids will carry these toxins to different parts of the body. So, depending on which part of your body is weak, whether it can be due to hereditary factors, genetic factors, or due to misuse or overuse of a particular part of the body, the toxins can get lodged there and start showing up as different kinds of symptoms which allopathy gives different names. For example, if the toxins get lodged in your back, it can cause back pain. So it is given maybe a name for slip disc. If it is in your shoulder, causing pain in your shoulder, right, or causing a problem in the bone part of the shoulder, it may be called cervical spondylitis or frozen shoulder. If it gets accumulated in the pancreas, you may develop diabetes. If it is in your intestine, it may be called irritable bowel disease or colitis, right? So these are all different symptoms and different labels given by the medical system. But in Nature Cure, we say that we make it very simple and say that the cause of all disease is nothing but toxin accumulation in the body. So let's understand now, how does the body cleanse itself and remove the toxins? So, to get well again, to heal ourselves, we need mainly three things. We need to understand and correct the cause of toxin accumulation in our body. We need to provide the right living conditions for our body. So, for every species on the planet, nature has prescribed different kinds of living conditions, right? Different kinds of diets, different kinds of environment. For example, if you get a polar bear which is well suited to live in cold Arctic kind of conditions, if you bring it to, let's say, to our Indian cities and put it in a zoo, in the normal climate, it is not going to do well. Probably it may even die, right? So, and if you try to give it food, for example, which is not suited for it, which is mainly non-vegetarian food, it is not going to do well. So, similarly, even we have right living conditions and right food to be taken care of. So, first thing is we need to understand what is causing the health problem. Then we need to provide the right living conditions for the body. And the third thing is the body heals during rest. So we have to give adequate rest. So this is our only job. We have to provide these three things which are necessary to build health. We don't have to get worried about individual health conditions. That is the job of the body. When we do these three things, the body will automatically rebuild itself and correct all problems. And how does it do this? This is where the self-healing mechanism of the body is, we can see it in action. That is, the body removes the toxins mainly through the three filtering mechanisms of the body. First is it removes some of the toxins through the lungs when we breathe out and throw out the waste material in the air which is breathed out. The second one is through the kidneys. The toxins which are in the blood is filtered out by the kidneys and thrown out as urine. And the third way is the skin. So skin is the largest organ of our body. So the body gets a big surface area in order to throw out toxic waste. So primarily the exit points for these toxic wastes are through these three means. As the body cleanses itself, because now we have understood why the toxins are accumulating, we are changing our lifestyle to provide the right living conditions, and we are giving enough rest, so the body will pick up. So whatever toxins were in a stagnated state in the body, because the body did not have enough energy and space and time to do its job, now with enough rest being given, the body is going to start picking up and remove all the toxins which had got accumulated. So these three organs are going to be used in order to throw out the toxins, and healthy cells are going to be rebuilt again. Any damaged cells which are of not good quality are going to be removed, and healthy cells are going to be rebuilt again. So damaged organs will get repaired. As the toxins leave the system, all those parts of the body which had congestion, which were in pain, all those things will get healed again. And then the body comes back to homeostasis. So this will take some time and effort and understanding from our side. And that is what we are here to learn. So next thing is we are going to understand what is germ theory and terrain theory. So what we understood so far is that the main cause of disease is the toxins in our body, and the body is self-healing. The solution to heal from all diseases is to allow our body to detoxify, and then the body comes back to homeostasis or balance, and all the diseases will be healed on their own. And we are only going to focus on building them. Now we will learn about another new concept called germ theory and terrain theory. So, we have all been through the past previous 2 years. We have been through what was called as the COVID era, right? So there were a lot of people falling ill from fevers, colds, coughs, rashes. There was lockdown announced, and then all these things happened. So we need to understand whether germs are the cause of all disease, because here we are saying that it's nothing external. We are saying that all disease is because of internal factors, right? So, how did this whole concept of medicines, putting pharmaceutical drugs inside our body, or fighting with the disease with immunizations and all start? There was a man called Louis Pasteur. He was the guy who proposed what is known as the germ theory. He said that there are microbes which attack and invade us from outside, and they cause problems within our body. So different microbes can create different kinds of diseases, and the solution he proposed was to kill or avoid the microbe. And the killing happens when we take medicines or take some vaccines or immunizations. So that was the theory he proposed. And at the same time, his contemporary was there called Antoine Duchamp. He proposed what is known as the soil theory or terrain theory, and he said that actually the cause of disease is not from outside. So microbes are not the cause, but they come to our body to help us, to aid us. Microbes are actually everywhere, they are in soil, in air, inside our body also. So microbes are there in all living things, and depending on the need of the body, the microbes will evolve into different forms like bacteria, fungi, and all those things. And they are actually there to help us to do some job inside the body. So he said that germs are not the cause of the disease, but they are only the result of a body which is already toxic from inside. So it doesn't make sense to heal from this problem by putting a medicine from outside. So the solution is we have to look at our lifestyle, make changes to our lifestyle, our diet, environment, stress factors, and all this, so that the terrain of the body or the soil or the makeup of our body, our gut, our internal body organs, the bacteria which we house, everything will change and the body will take care of itself. So germs are actually, they do not have the neural capacity to organize what is known as an attack, right? So we were taught from school or childhood that germs attack us, germs are there to harm us, but actually germs share a symbiotic relationship with us. Germs and viruses are actually nature's tools to cleanse and clean up. So here you will see, a garbage bin. So you must have experienced this. You throw garbage into the bin and you close it tightly. But still, after a few days, you will see that there will be worms and maggots and all those things inside, right? So how did they come in? How did they get into there, though it was closed? Actually, they evolved from within. So they evolved from within to eat the waste or the garbage in the bin, right? So they are actually nature's recyclers. So they are there only because there is toxic material within the body. We are providing the food to them, so that's why they are there within the body. But they do not cause disease. They only come to feed on the disease-causing toxin that has accumulated within the body. So just like flies are not the cause of the garbage, the garbage created the flies are there to eat the garbage. Similarly, germs are not the cause of the disease. Germs are only there, the microbes are only there because we have provided the right environment and food for them. So the presence of a germ does not constitute the presence of a disease. Just because we can find a germ within our body, it doesn't mean that that caused the disease. There are people who are carrying thousands of germs without any disease also. So that shows that the disease is not caused by the germs. The bacteria are scavengers of nature and they are only there to eat the dead tissue in the body and recycle it, and they will go away. They will die when the job is done. So when there is no more decaying, rotting matter which they have the opportunity to feed on, they will die or they will just leave the body. So when we build health, when we detoxify our body, when we do not provide the right dirty material within our body for germs, so germs are powerless in a healthy body. That's why the solution for everything, whether it's a so-called infection or any other disease in the body, we only have to work on making our body healthy. So you may ask us then, what is the reason for contagions? Why did so many people go through, so much distress during that time? The reasons for contagions are because any habit of body or mind, whether it is stress, whether it's the same kind of thinking, or masses of people having the same kind of thoughts and the same kind of food, if continued for a long time to excess and constantly worrying without taking rest, what happens is that the internal prana shakti or the energy within our body reduces, and this results in more and more germs and microbes which we start inviting into our body, and also things like stresses which remain with humans for long, like famines, wars, uh, things like loss of jobs or money issues, national emergencies, or even environmental issues like prolonged heat, prolonged cold, long spell of dry or rainy season. All these things can cause a lot of stress upon the human organism. And if the people are already leading an unhealthy lifestyle, these other factors can also cause more stress. More stress means we retain more toxins because the body doesn't have energy to clean up. And the body gets more toxic, and then the germs come to feed the toxic matter. So that's what happened. And we can take care of all these things if we work on conserving our vital energy and allowing the body to do its job then. So we will learn in future, sessions about how we can conserve our vitality. So pure blood, as the body detoxes, the blood starts becoming pure, and with conservation and earning of vital energy and keeping it abundant in our body, we do not have to worry about any external germs or bacteria or anything of that sort, because these are only the corrective agencies of life, and we can rebuild our health at any time by making lifestyle changes. So I hope this was a bit clear to all of you. Actually, it's a very deep topic about virology, viruses, soil theory, germ theory, and all that. But we have attempted to give a very brief snapshot of these things. So today we covered toxins are the cause of all disease. Body is self-healing. If given the right conditions, the body is able to detoxify itself. The body removes toxins through three main channels, and the body can come back to balance. Then germs are not the cause of disease. The cause of diseases, even if it is called infectious diseases or spreadable diseases, it is only because of the toxic material available within our body for these germs. So germs are symbiotic. They are not there to attack us. They are there to actually help recycle waste matter in the body and back to nature. So thank you for listening so far. If you have any questions, you can put them in chat. Yeah, or you can also raise your hand and I will unmute you. So there are some things already on chat. Cough and cold. Okay, so that was an answer to my question. Ankle joint pain. Yeah, we will address all these things as we go. So Seema ji,
Yes, ma'am. When they tell the disease is contagious or something, then how does it spread if it is not contagious? And what is the reason for that spreading or anything that way?
Yeah, it is the wrong lifestyle. So if a group of people are having the same kind of food habits, same kind of thought patterns, and are under the influence of the same environment, they tend to develop similar symptoms. So it's not actually spreading of like the germs moving from one body to another. It is that people living in similar conditions, similar thought patterns, food patterns, they develop similar kind of detoxification mechanisms, similar types of detoxification symptoms, which we think is actually spreading of the disease. But if you see, in a family, if one person is healthier, they may not get the disease. So it's not that everybody in the family falls even with the same disease. And even during the contagion time, right, there were many people who did not actually fall sick because they were taking care of their health and they knew what was happening. Maybe they knew nature cure or self-healing and how all these things work. So they were not in fear. So
actually, even I follow that practice only because I don't believe in allopathy. I do self-healing and other things as far as possible with homemade remedies. And if it is extreme, then I go in sometimes for that. But usually I follow this practice only. One more thing, ma'am. Vaccines, like what are vaccines? Should we put or no? I wanted to know of that. Even I'm against vaccine. So the exact thing I want to know, what does it do in your body?
Yeah, so it is the same thing, right? Whether it's a vaccine or a medicine or whatever, they do not have the capability of affecting healing in the body. The healing comes only from the body's intelligence, only from the inner energy which we have. So the body is not structured in a way in which medicines can be injected through the skin. Anything which has to get into our body only has to come through our mouth or the pores of the skin or that way. So what we are doing is unnatural and it may not be necessary. So that's what I want to say.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Any other question? Anyone wants to raise your hands? Yes, Simon. Yeah, you can ask.
Ma'am, like one more thing, what I wanted to know is like, it just went away from my head.
Okay, no problem. When
I'll
you
again
remember,
come back. Yeah.
Hi.
So Vidya.
Hi. I just wanted to know, like, for example, face any challenge or disease or something. How do we know the underlying reason for that?
Usually, disease will not have only one reason. it will be a combination of many reasons. And actually, we'll have a session on one of the days called Stages of Disease, where I think Smita will be taking that session with me, I don't know, but we will be explaining how the toxin accumulation causes disease and how the disease moves from one stage to another. So suppose today somebody is, let's say, going through diabetes, for example, right? So if we actually analyze our life and we understand how we started accumulating toxins due to various factors, we will be able to understand how we cause the problem ourselves. So please wait for that session, then you will understand how the disease which we have today has happened due to a lot of reasons from the past. But in effect, every problem is because of digression from natural laws, whether due to our own ignorance or whether we willfully did it. We have moved away from nature, moved away from the natural diet, and we have done several digression against what nature prescribed for us. So it is a cumulative effect of all these years of wrong living.
Okay, thank you. Looking.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I wanted to know, like, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you are.
Ma'am, I wanted to know, like, they tell that thoughts and feelings have direct effect on everything in our body, whatever we feel, whatever we think. So, though we follow a proper lifestyle and everything, the proper intake of food is there, everything. But if our thought process and these feelings are not proper, will it be effective or no?
Yes, definitely. It has a very important. It's a very important aspect. In fact, it starts from there. We have one day specially dedicated towards mental health, about how our thoughts affect our health. Smita is going to take that session and she's going to go into it in more detail. So we will understand more from that. It's all basically how we lose our body's energy due to different factors. So the loss of inner vital energy can happen due to many factors, whether we are eating the wrong kinds of food or whether we are over exercising, whether we are not taking enough rest, or even the kind of imbalanced thoughts we take, pharmaceutical drugs, relationships, our profession, everything. All these things can cause tremendous loss of vital energy of our body. And when there is not enough energy in the body, the toxins will not be able to be exited from the body in a timely manner. That's how disease progresses. So what are these in more detail, how to handle these? Smita will be talking about it and me also in subsequent sessions. Any other questions, you can put it on chat also if you don't want to come. But yeah, I think today not many questions because we just started. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions which will hopefully get answered in the subsequent classes. So I think we can close for today, Smita.
Asha, do you have anything to share on maybe the same topics, maybe, for example, germ theory and soil theory, maybe a little more in detail? For example, maybe a little more in detail so that maybe if they have, if they can understand that a little more clearly, maybe in the subsequent sessions, it will help. Since we have time, we can, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Or toxemia in general.
Yeah, so germ theory itself, we can talk about it in a lot more detail, but I don't know how much detail we can go into. But there have been many theories proposed about this. One is proposed, like this guy going beyond, which I was talking about. So he said that there are organisms called microzyma within our body, and they can take on different forms depending on the need of the organism. So, depending on the level of toxicity in the body, the amount of microorganisms or the type of microorganisms will change on a day-to-day basis. So, in case somebody is having more toxins in the body, there will be more of a particular kind of bacteria, or the microzyma itself will evolve into different forms like viruses, bacteria, fungi, whatever we may call it, depending on the need of the organism. And after some time, when the job is done, when the toxins are digested by these organisms, the population will automatically fall. So that is how it evolves. So, for example, when you are, every farmer who is looking for a good yield from this land, he knows that all that he needs to do is, give the right conditions for a particular type of plant to grow, right? So he spends a lot of time building his soil. So if you buy a land which has degraded soil, right, it typically takes around at least 3 to 5 years for the farmer to build the soil by putting the right kind of organic matter into the soil, then mulching the soil, providing water, and all those things. So slowly, the soil which was dead, where there was nothing, no earthworms, no insects, no microorganisms in the soil, as you tend and nurture to it and give it the water and the sunlight and all those things, over time, you will see that the soil becomes so beautiful. And within 3 to 5 years' time, automatically the organisms which are suited for that type of soil, where it has to come, the earthworms, the different kinds of beetles, the mud beetles, all those things, right? They will automatically come into the soil and make the soil more nutritious. So our job is, not to kill the organisms which are there in our body, whether it is through radiation or whether it is through pharmaceutical drugs or immunizations. We are actually interfering with the natural superior intelligence which is there in our body. Nature or our body has been, built over many thousands of years of evolution. We have learned how to live with all these things, within and around us. So bacteria have been there on this planet for millions of years. Even before us, we are a conglomeration of millions of bacteria within our body. Bacteria far outnumber our body cells. So it is futile to go against war against our mistaken notion that bacteria are causing a problem. We only have to correct our understanding and cooperate with what is happening. So for us, the body is like a black box, right? We do not have to worry about what is happening inside. What has to happen will always happen in the right manner, because the intelligence of the body has evolved over millions of years. Our job is only to manage what goes into the body, what inputs we have to give to the body, and give a little space and time for the body to do its job. That's all. The rest, the internal processes of the body will manage. Similarly, putting supplements in the body, putting the medicines inside the body is only going to interfere with the body's natural intelligence and mechanism to heal. So that's why this kind of program, we are focusing so much more on education, because when there is the right kind of knowledge, right, we will understand what is happening within our body, why it happened, and then stop interfering. When we stop interfering and when we relax, when we have the closure, when we have the faith that whatever is happening is in the right direction, automatically, the health building will become so effortless and so beautiful. Yes, of course, during this process, there will be pains, there may be discomforts as the body struggles to come back to balance, but it's a beautiful process if we understand and support the body. And it's not just the physical health which will improve, the mental, the spiritual health, our relationships, the way we interact with ourselves, with others, with the environment, everything will change. Okay, so I think we can close today's session. We have a lot more information coming in the subsequent sessions. So tomorrow we will see you at the same time at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. If you have missed any part of today's session, the session has been recorded and it's available. I guess the admin will inform where it's going to be available. You will be able to watch the recording and come back tomorrow at the same time. We'll start with meditation session. And I think tomorrow's session is about design of the body, why plant-based food, and why not animal-based food, and spiritual reasons. So this is the agenda of tomorrow's session. So thank you for your participation so far, and we'll meet you again tomorrow. Thank you, Masters.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, madam.
You can close the call, Lakshmi.
Okay, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.